Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm afraid, well, I'm not afraid, I'm sorry. I've not been very present for the last week or two. Basically, I qualified for the Mythic Invitational qualifier on Arena, so I had to try and learn to play Standard, which I didn't think would be very good viewing, but was kind of important. That was on Saturday. I didn't do very well. I went 1 and 2, which basically the way the tournament's structured is you have to get to either 10 wins or 2 losses and then you're done. And I didn't get to 10 wins. So I spent kind of, I don't know, a decent amount of hours trying to learn to play Simic Flash. I felt like I played fine actually. I just lost games I was meant to lose, so that was of some comfort. But still a little bit disappointed not to have at least made a decent showing. I thought 1 and 2 was a bit limp, but it was a high standard of competition. Or well, you assume anyway, because it was like the top 1,200 mythics from standard and from draft on Arena. I qualified by draft, if it's not obvious, which is why I had to learn to play standard. So that's what's been going on for most of the last week. And then yesterday, you may have noticed that some cards got banned in Modern, which is great. So we're going to play some Modern today. Obviously, Oko's gone. Thank God for that. And Mox Opal is a card I've wanted to axe for 2 or 3 years, and I'm glad that's finally gone. And then the Lattice wasn't really bothering me, but it's a real stinker of a thing to have exist. So that being gone as well also makes me happy. Which kind of leads me to here, which is that last time when the meta game was all in flux and people didn't know what to do, I brewed a Stoneforge Mystic deck, which you can see on this channel, in Naya colours, and it was great. So this is a fairly heavily altered version of the same archetype, and we're going to take it for a Modern League and see how we get on. Sorry, I've realised I've skipped over, like, doing an actual deck tech, so I'll do that now. Let's join, and then I can view the deck, I think. Yeah. So, the main deck. Wrenn and 6 and Stoneforge Mystic are hopefully the 2 best 2-drops. I hope. If people are playing fairly fair. Depends on whether you count Urza as a 2-drop or not. Ho, ho, ho. Yeah, hopefully these are the 2 best 2-drops, I think. Wrenn pairs really well with Nahiri. And if we're playing these 3, we're playing Naya anyway. And Nahiri's are kind of a cool win condition and a good one as well. So, for those who don't know, Nahiri's plus is a loot effect. So if you... sorry, not a loot, a rummage for the sticklers in the audience. So if you plus Wrenn to get back something you don't need, like an extra fetch or something, and then you loot it away with Nahiri, you can just repeat that every turn. It also is really good because we're playing lots of copies of the same Planeswalkers. We're playing 4 Wrens and 3 Nahiris. It's good for ditching extra copies, good for ditching the Emrakul if it's in your hand. Emrakul is only ever awkward if you draw it on the turn your Nahiri is on 8 and you would like to ult her. If you draw it the turn before, you just ditch it and then go get it. So Emrakul is in the deck to fetch with Nahiri and for no other reason. Yeah, I've added Bloodbraid Elves and Tarmogoyfs. They weren't in the deck before. They were, I think, Voices and maybe something like 2 Voice and 2 Ewit over here. And I can't remember what else I had in the deck, to be 100% honest, but it's on the channel. You can see it if you want to. Sideboard is mostly hate cards. So, Rips, Blood Moons, Chokes, Night of Autumns and Wear Tears for extra interaction, Sword of Fire and Ice, and then Lightning Helix is for extra creature removal if that's good, but additionally, I'm like a smidge worried Burn is going to be good. Like, generally, another deck people default to when the meta game is in flux is Burn, and if we lose our Stoneforge before we get to make the Batterskull, we have very little main deck life gain and a fairly painful mana base. I mean, we can block and we have some removal, so it's not the end of the world, but our Tarmogoyfs aren't going to be as big as they are in, like, Jund, for example, because we don't have sorceries. So it's not like we can reliably put down a 4-5 they can't attack through. We're going to fairly often have, like, a 3-4 Tarmogoyf. El Chupacabras is quite an amusing name. I'm happy to be playing against an opponent named thusly. I'm going to keep this. It's a bit slow. We don't have a 1-drop. And the deck does contain 8 if you count bolts as a 1-drop. That's promising. Opponent also not having a 1-drop makes me feel less bad. Path. Okay, so I guess I'll lead on Windswept Heath with a view to fetching a tapped Temple Garden unless they play something I really want to path, like Dark Confidant or something. Maybe Stoneforge Mystic would be worth a path. Ooh, could be a fair deck mirror. This looks like the Bant pile. Okay, well, we are going to path that, and then we're going to untap and decide between Stoneforge and Wrenn, and I think the answer is probably just Stoneforge of our own while they're tapped out. So they've got Sword of Fire and Ice. As I understand it, the bans are in effect on Modo now, so if their next play is an Oko, I'm going to be absolutely fuming. I need to remember they've got Sword of Fire and Ice in hand. Not sure it matters. I'm going to play the Mountain just in... Oops, wrong one. Just in case I want to play like a... What's it called? Seasoned Pyromancer next turn. Opponents probably go, what? Naya Stoneforge? That's not a thing. For people interested in future content on the channel, my interest has been piqued very much by the Yawgmoth Chord of Calling deck, but I do not have faith in my ability to play it yet. It looks like it takes a while to learn. Saw Aaron Berich playing it brilliantly at the SCG event she won, and it looked to me like in order to win with the deck, you have to know it nearly inside out, which I do not. So I plan to spend a few weeks learning that and then make some content with it, probably several videos, because I'm becoming a bit obsessed with it already. Doesn't look like a life totals matter matchup. It looks more like a resources matter matchup. So we're on the feast and famine plan. Be interesting to see. Oh, I don't mind getting fielded. They appear to be holding up counter magic, which suits me. That's a stupid Emrakul. I think my plan is to put the Feast and Famine in on their turn and hope we get to untap with it. This is probably going to be a Quattle or something. Possibly a field activation. So I'm going to make the... No. I'm going to let that happen. Get my planes. I thought about trying to retaliate. Sure thing. That'll be dead to Wrenn and 6 momentarily. I think the most annoying thing they could do would be to just play an equipped sword, which we can't really beat. Yes, unfortunately, I'm going to let that resolve, which means they're going to kill my Stoneforge, which is bad for me. And it means I can't ping their Ice Fang, which is also bad for me. So, because it flies, we can't block to prevent the trigger. So they will presumably target Stoneforge. I'd be amazed if they don't. Now we activate. And it dies, which is sad. We really need a removal for that. I'm going to get tapped Stomping Ground. And here he would be a great draw. Ren. Ren doesn't do it. I guess that means Bloodbraid Elf. And hope to hit a removal spell. Okay, that's fine too. That is an acceptable freebie. Bloodbraid will die to the next sword trigger, but that's fine. Once we get our own sword going, it will mitigate theirs to a degree. Although I suspect, with the amount of cards they've drawn, they probably have access to a path, which might make it really hard to get anywhere with our sword. Yep. They could also just try to kill me. I mean, they're hitting, if they want to, they can deal 6 to me, which is, you know, very, very threatening. It means I can't use fetch lands and stuff. Yeah, they're going straight up top, which is valid. Let's see what else they've got going on. Holding up mana, which is wise, because it makes it hard for me to know what to do. Gonna start with this. Oh shit. I should have tapped in a way where I can cast Red and 6. That was bad. Okay. Start by attacking, see what happens. Probably a path on one of them, would be my expectation. Wow. I am amazed. So I can ping the noble, which makes me not dead to another noble. I guess that's fine. Okay, bad things are happening. So I'm now dead to another noble hierarch. Don't have a Snapcaster Mage. Okay. So that's 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I'm dead. So, how do I beat this? I probably want more. I probably want my own Sword of Fire and Ice, to be fair. More than I want Batterskull. And I probably want the Lightning Helixes too, for killing Quellers. And the Planeswalkers that I can assume they've got. Whose, I guess, is less important. Let's try this. Oh, no, hang on. I want chokes, obviously. That was moronic. Probably do want Ren and 6. The That's a lot of advantage. Let's try that. With the theory being that their creatures are small enough to die to burn rather than path, and giving them the lands matter. That's the reason for cutting one path. Hopefully now I've resubmitted with the chokes, it will remember that. I would love to play first. I don't think we can keep this. Or this. Damn. This is taking a turn for the worse, hasn't it? Not very much we can do about that. Much better. Opponent being on 7 is a bit sad. And they've shown us Spell Snare, so I guess we have to just pray they don't have it if they pass with open mana. Okay, they've got a Noble instead. Well, our hand lines up well against that, because we can get the Stoneforge down and bolt theirs. So, that's good. Guess we just don't hurt ourselves. And I'm going to get the Feast and Famine again. I think it's the one to have in these scenarios. There's no way, even though we've got 4 mana, which is enough to activate and equip, there's no way for us to do that to a non-tapped creature next turn, disappointingly. So, this must be their Stoneforge, I guess. Looks that way. Come back, Lightning Bolt, we miss you. Got Batterskull. Going big. They probably correctly assumed we've run out of removal. That's a fun one. I would like to. So we're going to activate on the end step, putting in whichever sword seems appropriate. And then we're going to try to win the game. Very insightful, helpful commentary from Chris there. It's good to try to win games. It will improve your win percentage if you win more games. That is a scientifically proven fact. Do I want good mana? I probably do. Feast and Famine has pro-black, the germ is black. So that was the thinking there. I'm going to attack. Drawing the third Stoneforge is not part of the plan when you've already mulliganed twice. They can't block, literally. Well, they can block with their Stoneforge. Don't suppose they want to, but they can. What I'll probably do is, during blocks or something, I'll probably put the other one in with this Stoneforge, and then all my lands untap, and I can equip it to... Actually, no, that leaves me with tapped creatures. Which, yeah, that is acceptable. Oh. I didn't need to do this. I've just remembered that there is not an untap step because they blocked and I'm a moron. Well, there we are. It's a mistake, but we're quite far ahead on board. That's the good news. We could... I can see us struggling to beat something like Small Teferi bounce one of your creatures. Like bouncing Noble higher up would be rough. Because our best top decks all cost 4. Hopefully we draw Bloodbraid next turn and just win. Sorry, my face isn't very... And obviously, you all are desperate to look at my lovely face. Yeah, my face wasn't the most visible thing in the world. So we're going to drop to 11, which is bad. This can't be blocked by Coatls either, which is nice. Can be blocked by Snaps and Quellers. And extra Stoneforge Mystics. They've got their own Feast and Famine, okay. They're now very heavily incentivized to block, which I assume they will just do. I wonder if they'll be incentivized to path. They don't seem to be. So the reason for moving the equipment is that we can block the germ infinitely without... They won't gain any life and stuff. They've obviously got something they're considering doing. I guess it's a Coatl. Could also just be drawing a card with this land. Yeah. I'm not sure I like putting yourself down a land, because like I think one of the things they can do that would impact me the most here would be to play and equip the sword, which costs 5 now they haven't got a Stoneforge Mystic. Obviously they can't get through with it now on the ground, but if they were to go like end of turn Coatl, untap, play an equipped sword, that would have been a nightmare for me. That is acceptable. They shouldn't attack. Okay. So I'm going to move this to here and hope they don't path it. Going to attack, which will... Oh, I should have played the Temple Garden tapped first. That was fucking stupid. This will make them discard and make me draw and let me hit them for many damages. Any target, yeah, that one. I'm just going to play this out as an extra body in case I have to chump block. Seems they have a spell snare, which is probably the best the best I could have hoped for. Yeah, that's fine. I think I'm quite happy with that. Yeah. Opponent has correctly realised that they're probably losing at the moment. Feeling quite good about this game. I'm not feeling confident yet. We've somehow managed to flood. But whatever. It's fine. I'll stop complaining at some point. I don't think there's a lot to be gained by them moving to combat. They agree. Perfect. Everything's happening very fast. I wonder if they've F6'd. It's pretty great if they have. Down to 4. Very late Blood Braid. Make them discard, untap my lands. They brought in a Rest in Peace for some reason. We'll see what we hit. Yep. Cracking stuff. Oh, that is a lot of floods. I think I most want to block with the Pyro. Or actually, maybe the extra Stoneforge, but my thinking is that the Pyro is good in the graveyard. Okay, so they might... The way that went, I feel like they've got a path. They've got to snap what's in the graveyard. Stone nothing. Okay. Just played him as a blocker, I suppose. A non-black blocker. The nice thing is that one of my creatures wearing both swords is still unblockable and still lethal, even if they somehow manage to force through like 6 points of life gain with the germ. If I put like both swords on a Blood Braid, that's 7, 8. Oh no, it's not lethal. Well, I know it is with the trigger. That's fine. Let's see what they do. If their turn is just stick sword on germ, attack, I'll just block here and life's fine. They go to 10 and then they take 10. Because, yeah, 3 power plus 4 from swords plus 1 from exalted is 8 plus 2 from the trigger is 10. The trigger, as in the Sword of Fire and Ice trigger, if that's not clear. I think we've got this one. I don't know. See what their last cards are. My great hope is that you can play most fun things now in 2020, or at least for the next week or two, until some rotter absolutely breaks the format. I guess they're going to just chonk in because it doesn't make sense not to. We block and then we win. Let's see if they've noticed. I guess I'll cast this as well, just in case we do something fun. Makes sense to do it pre-combat. Let's helix them. We'd won anyway, but it's nice. It's nice to win twice. Does anything change? Maybe I want the Batter Skull as well. If the games are going to get long and drawn out like that, I probably do. But then, yeah, we'll try this. Additionally, they haven't seen it, which is convenient. Yeah, they also haven't seen Choke. So my great hope is that we get to cast something like a turn 2 Choke, and they don't have a lot to say about it. That would be tremendous. You don't really get any free wins with this type of deck, do you? Like, that was a long old slog. I don't know how many times I moved equipments that game, but as you can see, equipments are just busted in mid-range mirrors. It's a good hand with an obvious problem. Okay, yeah. No red mana. Mulliganing again. And again. Fine. So we're going to keep not that, not that, and not that. And we're going to hope to God that Ren and 6 just wins us the game. I suppose it starts by us drawing a frickin' what's it called? Horizon Canopy, doesn't it? For Ren to win us the game. Because we need to draw some cards. Maybe on the draw I was meant to keep that... Oh, that's a Horizon Canopy. Maybe on the draw I was meant to keep that mopey looking 7 with 2 bolts and a stomping ground. I don't know. I feel like being low on white mana with 2 Stoneforges in your hand is a really, really good way to lose the game. See what they get. Batter Skull, coward. So Ren is really good against, like, it picks off snaps and coatls if they're not wearing hats. And by hats I mean equipments. And we're actually not very far down on resources. We're like, we're one thing up on board and two things down in hand, so we're doing fine. We just need to draw like infinite Bloodbraid elves. I think I sided one out. Come back, Bloodbraid elf. We miss you. The other thing is that Ren and 6 is just really good pressure, so it's gonna like just make life hard for the opponent with any luck. Stoneforge Mystic, you say? That's not terrible. What colour land do I want? Fetch. They're responding to my fetch. If they Shadow of Doubt me, I will be absolutely furious. Okay, good. So I guess the best thing that could happen is that this gets spell quellered and then we bolt the queller. If this gets snared, I'll be sad. Okay, nothing bad happens. That's good. This is a hell of a mulligan to 4. Let's see what they do. If they like flash in a creature with a view to equipping it, we've got Bolt. Wow. Their hand sucks. Like, what? They're not pressuring us or interacting. What have they got? Were they just super reliant on that Stoneforge not dying? Okay. On themselves. Fine. So I let that happen. Then I bolt that and I ping it plus attack it and it's gone. Doesn't mean I don't get to put my equipment in, but whatever. At least the Jace is dead. And it hasn't drawn them any cards as well, critically. It's just scryed. What are you doing, opponent? Let me take my turn. Please. God, Lightning Bolt is good. Ooh. Yeah, I'm just going to fetch a tap Stomping Ground or something. Tap Sacred Foundry, maybe. Don't suppose they're a Blood Moon deck. I've seen no... if they're just casting Batterskull here, we're golden. They are not. Oh, they are. Okay. Fine. Oh. Interesting. Ooh. What does that do? We're playing this out. So I can just make a Batterskull at any point. So their hand contains a Batterskull and 2 unknowns, and they've left 2 mana up rather than run out the Batterskull. So what costs 2? Ice Fang? Or Path? Cost 1, but it could still be what they're representing. I'm going for it. Let's get the Fire and Ice. They don't know about the Batterskull because we drew it naturally, which is quite fun. Be interesting to see if this gets pathed. If it doesn't, and we get to untap our lands, I'm really, really, really excited. Wow. The Winds of Abandon. I wonder why they didn't cast that. So their hand is Batterskull and 1 other. Batterskull doesn't have haste, so we're probably unlikely to have to block. So my choices are play Fire and Ice, play Batterskull. I think I'm going to play Batterskull out. And just hope it doesn't get like they could have a mana leak, to be fair, and exposing this to counter spells might be bad. But they just giving off really weak vibes, and I'm trying to punish them. Who would have thought we were the yeah, that's fine, that's rubbish. And by rubbish I mean it's pretty good, but like it's what we expected. Who would have thought we'd be the mulligan to 4 in this scenario? Like, their options, they can't even do both. They can either play this or they can equip. I think you have to equip. And then, what, you attack me and then deal 2 to Ren? I guess. What's green? Noble Hierarch? No, they're just tapping weird. Okay. At me, yeah. So they'll probably deal 2 to Ren, and that's fine. Oh, 2 to me as well. They're just getting aggressive. I guess I play out the one they know about and activate here. Oops. White mana is an important part of this. So I've tried to do this in such a way that they're incentivized to, if they've got one path, they're incentivized to use it here. Okay, so that's to just chump block my germ, I guess. And cantrip. Oh, they use the Quackle to draw the path. Okay. Yep, that happens. Forest is fine. So they can't block, so we get the trigger. They discard something. So their hand is just Batter Skull. We can... Do we need to gain life? They've got 5 damage. No, we don't. Draw a card. Probably should have done this before I used my Wren. That's a good one. That makes me feel safe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've played a land. Just going to put this on here. And path in their upkeep, I think. We know it will resolve because their only card in hand is still Batter Skull. So the best thing they can probably do is just play it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I can have 7 mana next turn to basically build Thanos if I put both swords and a Batter Skull on one of my things. And they can't block it because their germ is black and we have pro-black. I think they're dead. It'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Plus the trigger's 11 and Wren and 6 is 12. So yeah, I think they're dead if they play Batter Skull. They may have drawn something better, of course, but... let's see. If we do win, back-to-back wins off a mull to 4 and a mull to 5 is quite impressive. Okay, so they've just realised that they have to play the... they have to play the one that's not... I've forgotten the name for black. They have to play the one that's not black. That was a stunningly good use of my mind. So they've searched up a Feast and Famine, which is in their hand. Okay. Guess we get a tapped Shockland. Oh. Oh. This might make things very simple. Well, that's pretty good. There's a double Stone Rain. Cool. Yeah, well, it's not often the 2 games you win are the ones where you're on 4 and 5. I'm quite pleased with that. The power of equipping things in fair games. See, this is what I want Modern to be, is like a kind of super powerful but ultimately interactive format. I think it might be what Wizards want. Based on bans and stuff, the way they're behaving. I guess technically Oko was an interactive card in that it led to people playing on the board and creatures attacking and blocking and things happening to one another's permanents, but it was just like such an unfun play pattern, and it felt so hopeless if you were trying to overcome one that had stuck around for a turn or two. So yeah, sorry, I just paused the recording briefly to do a couple of boring necessary things, and now we're going into game 2. Hopefully more of the same, more more games where the sheer power of Ren and 6 and stuff just bails you out. That card is a nonsense. I'd love to go first. I'll keep this hand. This looks really good. There's not much that I would path on my turn 1. It's obviously... when you've only got 2 lands in particular, you really feel the necessity to utilise all your mana every turn, and having a 1-drop stuck in your hand can sometimes make you feel like that's a good plan. It's the same deck, it looks like it. Okay, well, I don't think there's an awful lot of benefit to pathing a turn 1 Noble Hierarch, so we're not going to. Drawn the Feast and Famine. That's an interesting development. Going to get Battle Skull because it's the only equipment left in our deck. Pass the turn and see what they get up to. I'm guessing just based on the snow-covered basic alone that they are the same deck we just played against, but Windswept Thief seems like an odd fetch for that deck unless they're playing more than 8. I would start with all of the blue ones first. So maybe they're playing more than 8 fetches, or maybe it's a different deck. Or like a budget thing, of course. Not everyone wants to pay for Misties. Excuse me. It's looking like the same deck, isn't it? What's the best draw possible? Maybe Meddling Mage is humans or something. Doesn't look like humans. Best draw is probably just a land. They're correct to name Bolt, insofar as we're playing some. That's a land. How helpful. It's not a white land though, so I can't do path plus activation. I think activation is still the most important thing. I could path plus Tarmogoyf. I think I'd rather activate, so I'm just going to pass. Hope they attack into my Batterskull I have but they don't know about. They do not. Land. It's not land, but it's very good. Now we're just going to pass the turn and try to put in our Feast and Famine. And if they're a fair creature deck that plays to the board, this is like a lot. This is a lot to overcome. Loads of lifelink, loads of equipments. Fine. See what they've got. As long as it's not a Knight of Autumn or some shit. That would piss me off. Okay. So it's like a Bant company deck, which is fine. They've got a load of stuff to do now. They've got to... I assume they just detain the Batterskull. I'm going to have to be quite precise with the timing of my path, because I need to. My hope is that I can punk them out with my batter skull by, pathing the deputy and getting it back as a blocker. But that's not. No guarantee of that. Okay. They're detaining the germ, which I think is acceptable to me. Because we'll get a fifth mana source at some point. They've got a batter skull, okay. We'll take 3. I don't see any reason not to. Hopefully we're allowed to untap. We are. Land is great. So, for those unaware, there's a trick you can do where you can return and then remake the batter skull with your Stoneforge for 5 mana. And the correct way to do it is to put the Stoneforge activation on the stack and then bounce batter skull, rather than bounce batter skull and then have your opponent path your Stoneforge in response. I don't have particularly good attacks. Goyf would only be a 2/3 at the moment. They can make a batter skull and then attack with an exalted germ. Going to attack here, I think. Might force a chump from like the Deputy or the Stoneforge. Or it might just connect, of course. This is interesting timing. Maybe they think Battleskull can block it. That was very weird. They obviously meant to put Battleskull in and then failed, so I might be getting a little lucky here. So with the trigger on the stack, I'm going to path this. Get my untap. It's an interesting one. Okay. Sword of Feast and Famine is super good if the best thing going on is various flavours of Batterskull. Because obviously, black. God, I'm good at explaining myself, aren't I? I really do make it clear and articulate for you lot. I'm of course kidding. I'm virtually I'm like the okay, verbal equivalent to illiterate. 6/7 with vigilance seems good. I just realised I can't attack with. Oh, I should have attacked with the Stoneforge 2 because it's still pro black. I was going to say that's a good one. We're doing some blocking. On the plus side, I do now have a creature to eat, at least, and a high life total. Let's see if they do it correctly this time. So I think the correct thing for them to do is to equip that onto their spell queller pretty sharpish. It'd be interesting to see if they do. Giver is a problem potentially. They've still got 5 mana, so they can do that. But they haven't, which is interesting to me. Ooh. Ooh. Let's see. Removal spell. Lightning bolt. Ah, but meddling mage. Very, very, very annoying indeed. Because I would have loved to have bolted that queller. Just that one. Makes the most sense. I don't think I'm winning this game. It's hard to tell, but I think it's going wrong. Okay. Well, that is at least green. But their deck draws so many cards. Okay, I don't know if that was better than playing the Stoneforge as an extra chump or not, but I'm still absolutely convinced they should be putting the Batterskull on the Queller. Okay. Yep. They haven't made a land drop this turn, so they might get to optimise their brainstorming. Now that Giver's online as well, this is going to get hard. I suspect we've probably lost. I'm probably like one bad draw step away from scooping. But we know from the previous opponent's deck, which was fairly similar, that we can win this type of matchup. I think the biggest problem is that Things like Quattles and Quellers they have so many 2-for-1s. Not that we don't, we do too, so I can't moan too much. So they're still just doing the sort of cowardly chipping in the air situation. Okay, that's really good. Please don't have a path. Is there any point in playing this out? I don't think so. I think this one's gone. Damn, they just drew a bit too well. Kind of overpowered us. On the plus side, choke. And I guess we diversify our removal a bit. And so I'm going to stick with 8 pieces of removal, but they're different. I think Ooze looks great. I think Goif looks great either. Let's try this version, just kind of max value. The lack of red is bad. I think this is a mull. Okay. Putting back Temple Garden? Question mark? Because Vista plus Ren is like infinite lands. Or is it just Sword? No, Sword's so good with Seasoned Pyromancer. I'm going to put back Temple Garden. Do they have a Noble Hierarch? It seems to be the best thing they can do on turn 1. They do indeed. We do not, which is a bit sad. Just untap. That's a good one. God, Ren is fucking fantastic, isn't it? It's going to undo my mulligan. It's going to let me make a really greedy, outrageous keep. Oh, this card. Let's fucking get great. It's so good. Yeah. Let's see what they go get. I think they're meant to get a sword rather than a Batterskull, but because I'm gonna try to kill the Stoneforge Mystic. That's not very. So I can kill the Stoneforge by just swapping Wrens out, or I can path it. So I have to decide between putting myself. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna do this. See, there's a good one to path. It's annoying that I'm basically getting them out of being mana screwed because they didn't appear to have a land to play that turn. Double white, what could that be about? It's weird that. Have I shown them a choke? I'm not sure. I think I need to get these swords out my hand before I young pyro, because it's like, it's too bad. They're too important for me to sacrifice them. Let's cast this. See what they do. If they quell it, then we can land a sword. Yeah, that makes sense that they would do that. Get my basic planes. And let them attack Ren for 2. Hopefully they don't have like 2 hierarchs or a sword and then quit. I can't see a way that we lose Ren anyway. And Ren taking 2 is fine. Yep. They missed on lands again, which is great. Okay. Now we can pyro comfortably. Although, do I want to? What are my other options? Yeah, I probably do want to. They probably got another Queller though, that's what I'm thinking about. That's what made me pause. Yep. Really, I just want to draw a removal spell so I can get all my stuff out, but I mean, Ren's drawn me like 6 cards. I can't be too disappointed. Wow, they dealt 2 to me. That's interesting. Mirroring Crusader, eh? I'm going to be greedy. I would love to cast that. Bloodbraid Elf. What do we get? Fuck, I should have used my first Ren. I do need to cast it. Fuck's sake. If I'd pinged that first, we'd have been in much better shape. I might have blown that a little bit. The point is, we need to start making some attacks with some swords and sort of getting ahead on various metrics. So that's at Ren, and that's sticking back. Seems like a fairly easy block. I'd like to keep my Wren and 6. Ah. How greedy can I be? Probably shouldn't be too greedy. Yeah, no, that is fine. I was just worried I'd just taken myself off Helix mana for a second. So we attack with both. Yeah, I think that's fine. I'm assuming they're not blocking. Oh, I forgot about getting rid of the other basic planes. That was really bad. I'm going to have to go for it in their upkeep, maybe. This is so bad against Spell Queller. Like, the reason to go for it at the end of last turn would be if we were worried about Queller. Yeah, I'm glad that died. They've still not got double blue, which is comforting. I'll be interested to see if they decide to attack or not. They do, for 2, which is fine. 3 loyalty is still a lot of loyalty. I'm assuming... Oh, I'm assuming wrong. I was going to say I'm assuming they've got a collected company, but what do they hit here? The sword? Yeah, that makes sense. Bash them. They do have it. Wow. Infinite paths. Don't have one left, okay. That's upsetting. Well, Nahiri's really good. I just need her to resolve, of course. So hopefully I'll draw another creature that we can use as like a bait for the counterspell they probably have, and then resolve Nahiri and like minus on one of their tapped creatures to get my stuff back. How many paths have they used? Only 2, it feels like more. Wren's nearly dead. They've started drawing mana. Hex Drinker, you say? Can they level it up to be too big to get pinged to death? So it's now a 4/4. Yeah, that's irritating. On the plus side, Nahiri will resolve. That's this. So their last card is probably Batterskull, if I've been tracking things correctly. I can sack my Wren off to kill that. Then they've got... I need to get... What does it have at 4/4? Does it have protection from instants? How do you even read this shit? I'm going to go on the internet one sec. I think it has protection from instants. Yeah, it has protection from instants. So this is pro green now. Although that having protection from everything will be a problem. Yeah, this is going to be a problem. That's kind of a trump card in these matchups, I suppose. Yeah. Yeah, they couldn't do that fast enough when they reached their own turn, could they? 6, 7, 8. They can do it exactly. Yep. So, it'll be interesting to see if they use it to hurt me or Nahiri. They might decide to get me dead. I think that's probably preferable for me. I think I can actually race that. And they are going at me, but we've got a Batterskull, so it's going to be hard for them to race. Bloodbraid. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana. 10 mana. So I can play and equip Batterskull and then still do more stuff post-combat. Don't have like Force of Negation and a blue card, that would be a joke. Oh shit. Oh, I was kind of... I fucked this up big time. I forgot that they could block. Now we need to hit. We need to hit a removal, otherwise I'm fucking dead. I'm dead anyway. I've blown this. Oh no, I would have still gained a load of life. What the fuck am I talking about? I didn't need to change the plan. I didn't need to change the plan. I blew that. That's really annoying. God's sake. And I think, honestly, we would have won that game. I mean, I had 5 minutes on my match clock, so I probably wouldn't have won the match, but I think we would have won that game if I just... Oh! I changed my mind. I was like, oh, they can block. That means I don't get to get my sword trigger, but I still gain, like, 8 life, which races the Hex Drinker. Oh, Chris, you... Okay, I need to get out of the self-loathing and into concentrating, because that was Really dumb. I'm sure I played an Albert 62 recently. I seem to remember they were on Sultai Pile. It's not a great hand. This could still be Sultai Pile. Be interesting to see. Thoughtseize. They take my noble, I assume. Unless they're terrified of the sword. Yep. Or they might just have a fatal push or something. Let's see what we're up against. It's still Sultai Pile, but it's a different flavour. We are attacking for 1, which is the best thing you can do with a Noble Hierarch on turn 2, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Please don't have Tarmogoyf, it'll be enormous. Oko? Is that still allowed? I don't think that's still allowed. I'm confused. I thought it was banned. To the surprise of nobody, I'm going to murder it, but it does leave me very down on resources. I was joking when I said Oko. I was under the impression the ban was in effect. Fear me, opponent. I'm all powerful. How is that allowed? I'm certain that's banned. Sorry, Batterskull, you tried. Bloodbraid Elf. It's not a very good one. This is so bad. What the fuck? How is this real? This isn't real. This is a trick. Oh, you can't use your Oko. Oh dear. There we go. They figured it out. Give me a Bloodbraid Elf, please, deck. I'd settle for like something that lets me kill Oko. I swear I read that the ban was in effect as of today online. So I was hoping this was going to be a test of the deck in like a new meta. Okay, so we can do this, which lets us poke Oko a little bit. Isn't it good using premium removal spells on food tokens that then gives them a land as well? I have such optimism about this game. In opposite world, I'm going to check when the bans come into effect. Ah. Well, that's good. That one doesn't bother me. Banned effective date January the 14th. And that is January the 14th, so I feel a little bit conned. Bolt. Give me Bolt. We have no equipments left to search for, but it's still a body. Oh no, I do. They got shuffled back in. This is fucking marvellous. So I have to get Feast and Famine because I can cast it before they can make me sack it. Attack Lily. Trade for the food. That's fine. Play this. This is also fine. The elk tokens are green, so we do have protection from them. Interesting to see how they use Lily. Because they clearly were reticent to -2 it before. They must have something in their hand. They've just been using Planeswalkers this whole game. Interesting. I might be better off going for my opponent's life total, to be fair, but against an Oko, it just doesn't seem smart. Still kills Lily, hopefully. Unless they have another trophy. Okay. More obscure pop culture references. It's probably still on YouTube. There was a really funny video for a while of like a super arrogant Chelsea Football Club fan who was just, there was this thing where he was like a really strong urban London accent, and he's just yelling the phrase "just another trophy" over and over again, and that's what just popped into my head when I thought about how bad another Assassin's Trophy would be. Anyway, enough of these super cool stories for you guys. What do we think's better out of Blood Moon and Choke in this matchup? Man, Stoneforge Mystic and friends suck against Oko. I think I need the helixes. I need as much burn as I can get my hands on. But I also have to leave in paths because of Goyf. At least I'll have big Goyfs too with the way their deck is built. I need Ooze. Maybe I just cut the Stoneforge package 100%, except for Sword of Feast and Famine, and just play like this. Can see an argument for this. Oh, this hand is like so bad if they Thoughtseize my Wren. It's fine. I'm going to stop panicking. going to play the Sacred Foundry tapped, I think, because I think I want these fetches to have the option of fetching basics as I've put 2 Blood Moons in. And I'm definitely casting Ren on turn 2. Actually, no, there's... Yes, no, that's still fine, yeah. So if I play this tapped and then use one of these, probably that one, to fetch a basic forest, then I still get to activate my Ren and stuff. The perfect thing they could do would be to lead on a Noble Hierarch, but I'm not sure if they're playing them. Ooh! Is this like the full wet Jund 4-colour pile thing I've seen on the internet? Yeah. Looks to be. I have to leave my land in the graveyard so that Goyf doesn't just die if it isn't clear. Yeah, that's fine. That's the same land that we knew about. No surprises there. Yeah. So we're representing the... No, we're not. I was going to say we're representing the ability to kill Ren next turn, but we're not anyway. So this is... Go for it, mate. Winning! Got him! Got him! Come on, Bloodbraid! Hopefully their hand is all lands as well. You never know. Bloodbraid oath. Into Blood Moon. Is that too much to ask? Oh. Well. I'm going to play this and then Bloodbraid. In case I hit Blood Moon, I need to fetch. Just trying not to expose Tarmogoyf to shrinkage. They've got their own. This is fine. Because when they bounce off each other, I can finish theirs off with Ren. They do appear to be flooding as badly as me. We know about at least 2 lands in their hand. Ooh. Well, that'll undo some flood. Hey, valued them. Can't believe they've got Okos in their deck. I'm sure it's banned. Yeah, I like not having the Stoneforge package in. It just seems too shit in this matchup. They've got so many ways of answering it. Like, Feast and Famine is kind of a defensible card because they're so black and green. Close. Oh, what is with this? We've had some rough mulliganing today. This is fine. 1, 2. Just please, God, don't Thoughtseize me. That's a Thoughtseize if ever there was one. Bad things are happening. If they take Ren, then we know we're really fucked. Because that means they've got an answer to the Blood Moon. Oh, bastards. Bastards. Or they're just going to fetch their basics, of course. That's a thing they can do. Nahiri. She's a good one. Helix is pretty good. We might get to Helix, a creature that isn't a Tarmogoyf. Obviously, a Tarmogoyf will come down as a 3/4, and Helix will grow it to a 4/5. So, yeah, if you've ever tried bolting a 2/3 Tarmogoyf without an instant in the yard, you'll probably have learned that lesson the hard way. It doesn't work. Have they got an Oko? Of course they have. So if you couldn't tell, we're off the Blood Moon plan. Once it's been kind of viewed, it's no longer effective. At the moment, my best plan is to Helix the food when it becomes an elk, and then untap and play a Nahiri and see how we get on. I hope Nahiri's really hard for them to answer. If they're on, like, trophies and pushes for their removal. They'll just let that go because that's great for them. I've wasted a card on a food. Basic island, I assume, just to really make sure I can't stitch them up. Yep, that's fine. Yep. It's a shame we don't have an answer to that yet. But yeah, given that I'm 100% off the Blood Moon plan, I think I'm going to actually discard it to Nahiri's Plus in a second. I would like to discard. Like, my plan at the moment is to hopefully find a Goyf of my own to block this, and then I can maybe think about, like, trying to ult Nahiri, because should win the game. Okay, so that lets them kill Nahiri. So my dreams are crushed. This is terrible. I can at least kill their Ren and 6, but that's pitiful. We need something like Bloodbraid into Path for anything to matter. That's not the one. So it does draw lots of cards, and it is a bunch of bodies that are worse than elks, so that's slightly encouraging. Draw me a Path, please. We're Thoughtseize proof. That's the silver lining. I forgot it doesn't make tokens if you don't discard any spells. Yep. Take 8. No big deal. Oko's fine. I'm really glad it's gone. Hopefully this will be the last time I ever play against it in Modern. It's even started ruining Legacy for me, and Legacy is like... used to be my happy place. Used to be safe there. Yeah, I think I just have to take a defensive stance, which is really sad. That will probably do it. Yeah, I think I'm satisfied that I'm dead there. Well, fuck Oko is my summary. I don't understand how that's still allowed. What's his website says that that card is banned. This is a good hand. It's the best hand we've seen all day. I would absolutely love a Ren and 6, but I'm not going to complain. We've got Noble into good 2-drops into hopefully a good 4-drop. This is probably Death Shadow these days. I assume Urza is not playable anymore, but I could be totally wrong. Yeah, this is like some kind of Death Shadow deck. We do need mana sources with that thing dead. On the plus side, that's a 4/5, and we have a path. I'm assuming there's some kind of Esper Death Shadow or something. Maybe Mardu Shadow, the one with all the Ranger captains and whatnot. Yeah, this looks like Mardu Shadow. So they're going to take my path because it's the only logical option. They're going to say, good lord, he needs lands. Oh, they took my ooze. Maybe they need lands too. I'm going to pass the turn. I'm going to try to sort of path the shadow and bolt the Sculler sort of situation. I'll happily take 2 if they... Actually, will I? Or will I go for this now? I was thinking about trying to go after their life total, but I just think that opens me up to getting a really bad situation involving Death Shadows. Be interesting to see if they take the ooze again. Or they take the path this time. They did take the ooze again. What's this? Push. Okay. Makes sense. They now have a lot of mana, but that's a good one. Their life total is probably still a bit higher than they would want. Interesting to see if they have a shadow. They look like they do from the way they're playing. Ah, they do have a shadow, but they have it the fancy way. What is this blood crypt? It looks kind of cool. Never seen that one before. Yep, no surprises there. And we need a land, desperately. Yeah. Just passing the turn. F6, see if we die. I miss my noble hierarch. That was a good one. Okay, drop themselves to 4, so that's now 12 power. They play, I don't think they play any bolts. They play Battle Rage. I wonder if they have a Battle Rage. The nice thing about this from their point of view is they still have lethal if I get to make my Nahiri. So how do we play against that? We probably need Blood Moon, I would imagine. Rest in Peace is probably a trap. I don't think it's good enough. Night of Autumn might be good against the Scullers, but that's kind of all it's good against. And then I could play Burn to try and cheese games off them, but it's so bad against their creatures. Well, it's not as bad in... Burn's not as bad here as it is against, like, Gurmag Angler. Kind of talk myself into that. I'd rather have. I submitted. I was just gonna try and change one card. This is bad. I'm getting sick of shit hands today. We've had so many bad ones. Fine. This is a sorry start to a game. Downs tons of resources against the Thoughtseize deck. I know we won some games off of Mulls earlier, but it was against a deck that doesn't attack your hand. Yep. Ren. Okay. Fine. Yep. Give them a land, which feels terrible, but I probably still have to do it, because the paths are in here purely for Death Shadow, after all. Okay. Not too sure about using this canopy. Got him. Winning. This is where one of their last cards is a Death Shadow, and I've just grown it. Still think it's probably correct to bolt the player. And now we have to sack the land looking for a path. The reason to play that out, even though there's nothing to do with it, is they have hand attack basically, and we don't really want to give them a chance to strip it. Here we're going to take Bloodbraid. Okay, Goyf is like fine-ish. If they have nothing in hand, it's lethal, but they definitely don't have nothing in hand. I don't know why they did that. It's like give myself revolt for no reason. Unless they have a way to... No, they can't. If the Death Shadows are 13/13, they're dead, so there's no way for them to lethal me without the Battle Rage. It's not to say that they don't have it. Path. We might draw White Source Path. It's a decent one to draw in this situation, that's for sure. Okay. Fine. We can block. Don't have Battle Rage, please. We've still got Bloodbraid as like a sort of an out. That's a good one, because we've got mana. Nice. Did we win? We won. Boom. Okay. Not going to change anything. Oh, yes, I am. I'm going to change one thing. Decided Tarmogoyf is better than Ooze. Those are some good draws at the end there, weren't they? They made up for those fucking horrible mulligans. Probably. I think I'm mulliganing this against the Thoughtseize deck. I'm confused. Okay. Hopefully they don't put us under too much pressure too early. I don't mind getting Thoughtseized right now because my hand is strong. It's more a case of like I don't want sort of 2 Death Shadows. Something like that would be a problem for me. Sculler I don't mind. My hand is super good, so they can take any one piece and it still functions well. I guess Wrenn and Six or Stoneforge are probably the 2 that I'd be most inclined to take in their seat. They went for Wrenn, which is fine. Can I get my stomping ground tapped? Get my feast and famine on. Pass the turn. People wouldn't be surprised if they now strip the feast and famine out of my hand, but Pithing Needle. They could name Stoneforge Mystic, or Sword of Feast and Famine, or Wooded Foothills would be a funny one. Yep, that's upsetting. I would like my Wooded Foothills back, please. Just wait, I guess. Doesn't seem to be much to gain by making too much of a move too early. Hopefully we'll draw something like a Windswept Heath and then we've got all the mana in the world because of Wrenn and 6. I'm just going to do this now. Have they got the Ranger Captain? Looks that way. And the Shadow. Things are looking bad. If I'm the opponent, I just attack the player, I think. Try and get me dead. Best draw would be a land, like either a Prismatic Vista or a wooded, sorry, or a Windswept Heath would be my best draw. That seems like... Okay. I was going to say that seems like strange timing, but this makes sense now. Just put me dead. This is probably bad timing as well, but, you know. I figured they'd have F6'd and I wanted to get my life gain, but they remembered to sack it, sadly. 2 to themselves, get back a Street Wraith. Okay, yeah, that's lethal. Well played, opponent. Okay, this has not gone to plan. We've got one more chance to try to save some dignity or something. I was going to say, I'm sure I recognise Selfie Sec's name as being like one of the trophy leaders, and there they are. At least it's slightly comforting to know when you get pounded it's by someone really good. Maybe Naya Midrange isn't the one. Nah, it definitely is the one. One of our losses was to banned cards. One was to an excellent player. And I can't remember what the third one was. I'll have to refresh my memory at some point. Freakle. John Finkel's odd cousin. I'll keep this. Noble Hierarchy. Oh. It never works. Can I have my turn, please? Get out my draw step. They're being weird. So the plan will be to fetch a Temple Garden tapped and then play Wren. Although we do have quite a lot of lands anyway, but having the canopy just, it's so good. Once you get to 4 or 5 mana or whatever you decide will be enough to play the game, you can just constantly draw extra cards. Wonder what we're playing against. Maybe Jund. Breeding pool. Not more. Hopefully not more frickin' Oko. I suppose if you're one of the handful of players that really like that card, maybe you take the opportunity to enjoy it while you can. Still seems... I don't know. If a card's been declared banned and you've got like a 12-hour window, I don't know why you would just play it. It seems like a waste of time to me, and you know, you're meant to be sort of trying to figure out what to do now your previous strategy's not allowed. Seems weird to me, but then people are weird. So Wren will take 1, I assume. Okay, I would like to find a way to kill that, please. That'll do. I'm going to path it in their upkeep so they get the land untapped, but they haven't had a chance to generate any clues. Season Pyro will help us. Oh, that was helpful. Opponent cocked that one up. I was going to say Season Pyro will help us with hopefully drawing some gas. Bit of a mistake by the opponent. Earlier when I was trying to describe what happens if you try to lightning bolt Tarmogoyf, the same thing just happened. In that they -4'd it when it was a 3/4, but with no sorcery in the graveyard. And then it became a 4/5, and then the game said, oh, you're not dead. Okay. Oh, because it's removed from the graveyard, sure. I get it. Go ahead. This happens a lot with Wrenn and 6, where your hand is just lands and another Wrenn and 6. Please don't play Tarmogoyf. The good thing is we've got the canopy and Wrenn going, so we can just draw 2 a turn forever. Yep. We are drawing an impossibly large amount of lands. Like, I've discarded loads. And by loads I mean 2. And we're still here. Yes. You can do the thing. Very good. Very good thing doing, opponent. Ha! Victory is mine. Spell. Any spell. That's a good one. Okay. Soon we can start exiling pyros from graveyards to make 1/1s as well, which is obviously good against most things, but not Dead of Winter. That's fine. Now I lose Ren, and I'm not so happy. This has gone tits up. But we'll be fine. We'll be fine. We've got Blood Braids and Nahiris and all these cool cards we can draw. Doesn't have to only be lands. Okay. I'm playing that untapped because I might want to use Path as well as Season Pyro this turn. Seems unlikely, but it's not impossible. Hopefully trade one of these with the Snappy, maybe. Oh, for fuck's sake. I'm a moron. I thought it was not double red to make the tokens, and I tapped really badly. Come on, Chris. You're better than that. That's fine. We can happily discard this or sack one of those. Yep. I guess I'm going to just do this. Give myself the maximum chance of killing Lily. Play him out, or her out. I'm going to attack Lily with everything, because they might have like a Fatal Push in hand for the Tarmogoyf, and I want it to be on 2 if they do. This is going okay. We seem to have sort of ground them down. Cool. No reason not to play it. I think we're probably going to win. It's hard to imagine anything but Dead of Winter from here. Okay. Please don't draw Dead of Winter. Cool. I don't think we want any of our land hate, but I'm wondering if we want Rest in Peace. I think they're maybe a bit graveyardier than me, but like mostly I'm just thinking about resubmitting. Yeah, I'd rather leave it the same. Apologies for yawning. It's hard to say what we need. Like Ren and 6 shuts off Unearth and Snapcaster Mage, but it also shuts off. Sorry, did I say Ren and 6? I meant Rest in Peace. Shuts off Unearth and Snapcaster Mage, but it also shuts off my Ren and my Season Pyro. So maybe it's just, it's like it's really there for decks that absolutely rely on the graveyard, like Dredge and Storm. I'll keep this. It's fine. What have you got, Freakle? I'm not sure. Well, Nahiri's a great one. Other than not having a 2-drop, our hand is fantastic, really. We've got loads of mana, all our colours, good spells. They are looking rather coatly. I'm not sure if I even want to cast the Season Pyro at the moment, because other than Lightning Bolt, everything in my hand has a lot of value. Guess I'll play it and just discard Bolt and 1 Bloodbraid, something like that. Bolt and Stoneforge. That makes some sense to me. The other kind of cool thing about this is we're immune to Inquisitions. Not that they necessarily have them. Just all these 4-drops are so freaking good. It makes sense to me to just chain them, just start slamming one after the other. What have you got? Lily, eat my token. I accept these terms. So, I think I'm going to, having just eulogised about the strength of the 4s in my hand, I think I'm going to actually take a turn off of casting 4s. I'm going to kill this, play a Noble Hierarch, and play a Scavenging Ooze. And just hope to God that they don't have Dead of Winter. Because that would be irritating. But actually, it still wouldn't be that bad, because my hand is amazing. Yeah. I assume that's not going to be played out into a Dead of Winter, so this looks fine. Yep. So they've got lots of cards. None of which are that good. So I can Nahiri. I think I'd rather Bloodbraid. Noteworthy that they do have 6 snow permanents and a sorcery in the graveyard. So Dead of Winter is horrible. I assume they're just going to minus on Tarmogoyf. Yep, makes sense. Well, that's fine. We can just Bloodbraid again, just grind them down. They'll eventually give up. Oops. I didn't want to cast Nahiri anyway. That was a misclick. This is perfection. Look at this. If they've got a push, they have to waste it. They don't appear to have a push. This is good. I wonder how much more of this they can take. They're going to flashback, unearth, get another coatl, and none of it will still matter. Or rather, and still none of it will matter. Okay, they just trophy, what, the Goyf? Or the Wren? Fine. That's the classic. I would like to discard a card, because I do not want this. I should have done this, because I don't want to shrink my Goyf. I only shrunk by 1, that's fine. I guess I'll sack this now in case I draw something good. Let's see if they've had enough yet. This has felt fairly brutal. We've drawn pretty well, and everything's kind of lined up for us. Plus, there was the punt from the opponent in game 1. do think Dead of Winter is a very cool card and very powerful. Yes, you can chain together all your silly little things. It is a lot of value. Okay. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I can do everything. Go ahead. Be interested to see what the plan is. I think now, yeah, they realise that Nahiri's going to get an Emrakul. So this is the deck, and all in all, I think it felt really fine. I'm not sure what I would do to try and improve it. Maybe it's just not a good deck, because it felt like a better configuration than the one I was playing in the past. Yeah, the Blood Braids have been good. I wasn't playing Paths before. I was playing other red removal and then a main deck Blood Moon and 2 more in the side to try to be better as a Blood Moon deck. And I'm wondering if that's still a good thing. But beyond that, yeah, it felt like a monster in mid-range matchups. We lost to the Death Shadow where I was going to say we got unlucky, but we got so lucky to steal game 2. I can't whinge too much. We got beaten by the banned cards, which are going to be... You go to jail if you do that tomorrow. You should be in jail today, as far as I understand it. So, yeah. I'm not sure if this is viable or not, but I'm going to continue to have fun with it. And, yeah, thank you for watching. Any suggestions and contributions in the comments would always be welcome. And see you guys next time.